How's it going?
Going.
It's going. It's Sunday, you know that?
It is.
Welcome
All
to
day.
Welcome to my show. What's happening, everybody? Hello, it's Sunday. Sunday Live Haul, our weekly show. Look at it. We've done so many shows all in a row. Once upon a time, we went like a good year or more without missing a show, and then we've missed quite a few, I feel like, this last year.
Well, we've been busy, damn it.
Why? What's happening, everybody? Nice to see you. If any of you are here for the first time, welcome to the show. This is our weekly show that we almost always do, our Sunday Live Haul. I'm Katy. This is Vicki, aka Victoria, aka I don't know what else to say. She likes to make weird faces at me, mostly to look sneery and annoyed.
Sure.
It's true. Although I appreciate, aka my fiance. Although I do appreciate in the chat the discussion of the cover photo of the show and Lori explaining what the deal was.
It's a 3-year-old photo too, by the way, guys.
It's pretty funny, but yeah, it's not so much that Vicki doesn't like cats. Oh, she doesn't especially like cats because she is allergic to them, so it's kind of understandable. It's more that she thought the shirts I would find were ridiculous, and yes, I did wear them specifically to drive her crazy. I still have a couple that I really, really like, but for the most part, I'm over it. But I would wear them just to drive her crazy.
Please don't send anymore. She's over the cat t-shirt.
But it really took off and was out of control, and I had so many for a while there. But I do still have a couple favorites, guys.
It was a little.
I like my vampire cat t-shirt. There's a couple I still like. I really like the one that you got me that was.
I do what I want.
Well, no, not that one. My Freddie Mercury.
That's true.
T-shirt, which maybe someday I'll be able to fit into again. Speaking of, today is the first day of the rest of our lives. We've after everybody had the COVID. What do they call it? It's like the college 15, only it's like the COVID 40.
The COVID-19, 19 pounds.
Yeah, I even saw Ryan from Rally Roots was saying something about like with COVID, he had like gained 25 pounds and then he lost them and he gained it back again. Listen, we feel ya. So yeah,
here we go again.
So we've been needing to like get healthier. You know, it's a lot of things like exercising more. I've got my Fitbit that I just got a few weeks ago, and man, do you realize how little you move in this job?
It's true.
So, and then it's like constantly buzzing me to tell me to like get moving, and I'm like, shut your mouth. But seriously, like on a day of like just working at my desk, it's like I'm lucky if I get 2,000 steps in, and that's really sad. So just trying to exercise, eat better. And, we've got this big event coming up in October. And there's going to be lots of pictures taken. We're going to be up on stage.
Listen,
it's like
most of you guys that know us in real life or that know me and Katy or Katy in real life, listen, I go through curvy Vicki stage to really overly fluffy stage. And I'm overly fluffy at this point. I do not want to be the overly fluffy person on stage, in videos, in photos, on videos. No, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So I need to get back down to where I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
Time to start getting healthy.
So yeah, and I know, for me, I tend not to have the whole self-conscious body issues that I think women especially tend to have. But I do notice that when I get to a certain size, like I'm less comfortable, like physically comfortable, just because it's not really good. And also I don't like the way I fit in my clothes. Like I do dress masculinely. Like I wear guys' clothes, and I've got some boobs on me. And when I weigh more, they're even bigger. And I'm sure Sandra can understand when you want to wear a nice button-down shirt, men's shirt, it's a little tough when you got these big boobs in your way, right?
It's true.
You don't look sleek, man. I want to look cool. So we're working on that.
Sandy, thank you. You're sweet. I am happy with myself. I love myself.
She's beautiful.
And I'm pretty darn cute.
Yeah.
I'm just a little extra fluffy.
Yeah.
So I need to be healthier and be back to being healthy and comfortable.
Listen, we went this week. So we left on Tuesday morning, came back Friday afternoon or Friday morning. We went to visit some friends up in Washington, and we went one day. We went like I wouldn't even call it hiking. It was like a nature trail that's like very well
paved.
Was it paved?
Yeah, well, not paved,
It wasn't
but
paved, but it was well maintained.
yeah.
And for the most part, flat. I mean, it was probably like a mile and a half that we had to like walk in. And then there's a part where you do have to go down pretty steep part to get to the water. And it was like, we almost killed ourselves doing it. And Vicki even like fell at the end of it.
Oh, geez.
It was rough.
It's not funny.
I got stung by a bee for one thing before we even got to the trail. And I swear this happened to me when I went backpacking to Mount Jefferson. Anyway, we get out, we go to use the bathroom, and like this bee all of a sudden flies up and goes and like double stabs me right in the neck.
Double tapped by a bee.
Luckily, I'm not allergic, but it did hurt.
Because none of us had our EpiPens, because
Yeah.
we do have 2 people with us that were allergic. One of them a firefighter, and she didn't have an EpiPen either. So we were total fail if that had happened.
But luckily, I don't have an allergy to these things. But she fell, which thank God she was just bruised and kind of, I think she probably maybe tore some muscles in my
I tore
wrist.
some muscles in my foot and my wrist, but I didn't break anything. I will say.
It was
So we did this whole hike thing, get down to the end, and there's a couple of rows of large driftwood logs that you're supposed to walk over to get onto the beach, which by the way is just all rock, heavy rock, no sand. So
I can't remember what the area is called. It's I can't remember, but is it Birch Bay or
Birch Bay.
Okay.
Birch Bay in Bellingham, Washington. Right outside of Ferndale, Bellingham, Washington. So we get there. My toe catches the thing, and I did like a full-on face plant hard. Like I hit hard. Like Katy was almost at the water, and she heard me hit.
I heard her hit. I did. I was actually very concerned. I came back and made sure she was okay,
and then laughed.
And then no. Listen, because it's embarrassing. Like you fall, of course it's gonna be embarrassing and it's painful or whatever. So after I made sure she was okay, then I was very generously helping her brush off the front of her shirt, because that's the gentlemanly thing to do.
It was rough. It was rough. I got to say, I'm definitely still sore. This happened Wednesday afternoon, and I am still bruised and sore. I was just able to put on sneakers that I could lace up today.
I had blisters. So basically, bottom line is, we were like, this is embarrassing.
It's ridiculous.
We barely did anything that you could misconstrue as exercise. And it was like, we seriously came back home and couldn't do anything all of Friday, because it took everything we had to get our stuff shipped. So bottom line is, we already planned on starting our whole thing today, being healthier, but we're like, man, seriously. And Liz said something about, eating bad food. It's like, seriously, like, I think also because we knew we were going to be making a switch, I really wasn't making healthy choices, and you just get sick of it. So I'm actually excited to start, and we're drinking lots of water. You got your little water bottle that you're drinking.
I do.
So we're trying, guys, and we're telling you guys so that
we're holding ourselves accountable.
I guess so.
Again.
Yeah.
Anybody that knows me knows that I lost almost 50 pounds 4 years ago. I met Katy and gained it all back.
Sorry.
So here we go.
But hey, I see Dana in the chat. When I was getting ready for our trip, and I was like moving stuff around in my backpack I carry around, I found something that I actually got for you when we went to Portland last. So I thought I'd show you right here, because I need to give it to you. So help me remember to give this to you. But look at this cute little magnet I have for your fridge.
So Karen asked a question, when is Burn Camp? Burn Camp was actually 2 weeks ago. We did not attend this year. We just had way too much going on this year with the Reseller Remix and all of the planning that is going into that. I didn't have the time. We didn't have the time to collectively take 10 days away from our businesses and home. Mm-hmm. So this year, Burn Camp still happened. I did not have a cabin this year, because all of the littles have graduated to an older cabin. So I actually was not needed as a cabin leader, and it seemed like a good year for me to stay home. Also, this is why we went to Washington. We went to go visit some of my close friends that are there right after they came back from Burn Camp. And
I knew she was going to be super sad.
Little 3 day.
I knew she was going to be super sad and depressed about missing camp the second year in a row. So I was like, well, we can still go for a couple of days, and at least then you'll get to see some of your people, and it won't be so bad. And it was true. So,
and look at that. Look at a little Wade's Venture in the chat there. Listen, between DoorDash and Uber Eats, my fat ass kept people employed. Yeah. I was contributing to the local economy. We are all about contributing to the local economy, Wade. So
absolutely.
There are certain people, I'm sure, that were able to pay their mortgage just because of us.
Oh man, yeah, DoorDash. We even pay like the monthly thing. But there's speaking of eating healthy and stuff like that, we do have some decent places around here that we can still do the DoorDash and not eat terrible food. But we're starting today, and of course, the first day we're starting, we're going out to dinner with some friends tonight. Tomorrow night, we're going out to dinner with some other friends, and that's always the biggest challenge, is like having to go to a restaurant and figure out how to still be committed to what you're trying to do. And no beer for me, at least for this next month. We'll see how that goes. So it's sad, guys. It's sad. Anyway,
as Dana calls it, we're back to eating sad food.
Hey, you could still eat delicious food. I made an awesome lunch for us today, I think. Do you think it was pretty good? Anyway, so yes, exactly. Skinny Fats. They have these amazing tacos there that I'm totally on board with. All right. So guys, this is our regular Sunday show. We break it up into 3 parts. The first part, we look at our real numbers for the last week. We look at our gross numbers across all our platforms, and then we break down some of the costs, fees, shipping, cost of goods, which is the most important part. Because as we've tried to kind of instill in you guys, when you are watching people, particularly on social media, and comparing yourself to them, you should always be thinking to yourself, there's a lot of the equation you don't know, such as what they actually paid for all the stuff that they sold in those giant stacks of packages that they ship out on Monday. And even with the information we give you, sure, we paid the money that we tell you with our cost of goods, but what about all the stuff that we didn't sell this week that we spent money on? So even then, you still don't really know how successful anybody is. It's all based on our word and the word of everybody else you follow. So just take everything with a grain of salt. That's all I gotta say.
Pretty much.
Worry about yourself, work on yourself and your own business. And hopefully with us sharing what we do share, we can help you at least a little bit with motivation and maybe some bolos and stuff like that.
So those of you that don't know by any chance, and then we're going to start getting into our numbers, Wade there in the chat, just so you know, Wade is one of our featured speakers at the Reseller Remix. Tickets are still on sale. I don't know how much longer they're going to be on sale because we do have a capacity issue. So
we got 79 days, guys, 79 days until the event happens. There's still some tickets left, but you don't want to wait too long. If you have been thinking about going and you're not entirely sure yet, just remember, you still have to book a hotel. You still have to book your flight. Luckily, we are in Vegas, and so there tends to be a lot of options, and usually it's not too crazy, but just keep that in mind. But for the most part, there are still a few speakers that I need to add to the website, but the website is down below. And for the most part, everybody is posted now.
Any name that you would recognize is on the website. We do have some employees of eBay.
We got some eBay people.
We have some eBay employees that we're going to be adding some speaker information and bios about. Chances are you probably don't know who they are by name. That doesn't mean that they're not fantastic and interesting, but it's not somebody that you might be, oh my goodness. We do have Worth Point coming. Cool. Will, the owner of Worth Point, will be there, and he will be doing a little bit of speaking about the product itself. But other than that, the majority of our major speakers that are going to be hosting panels or being on panels are have been announced. We will be tomorrow night. We will be on Ryan and Allie's live show. So if you happen to tune in and watch Rally Roots tomorrow night, I believe the show is at.
Well, you're giving out information that we don't know for sure yet.
Sorry.
But yes, we're supposed to be going on their show live tomorrow, but I do know that Allie was just on vacation with her mom this last week. I think she gets back today. So I will be checking in a little bit later to confirm that we're going to do their show tomorrow night. Hopefully that's the case, but we don't have any details for you at the moment. So just pay attention. If you follow them on their channel, then I'm sure you'll see when we go live. But so hopefully that will be happening.
I think it's tomorrow.
Yeah, usually they do it on Mondays, but they're not always sticking to that. So, but hopefully that's going to happen. And but yeah, it's going to be super exciting and fun. And I see the Golden Nugget. It looks like there aren't any rooms available there anymore. But seriously, like we've said before, and we've talked about this, any of the hotels that are in downtown Las Vegas in the Fremont area, they're all so close to each other. You can walk the entire Fremont area in like 10, like you just walk straight through 10, 15 minutes. So there's going to be stuff available down there. You don't have to stay at the Golden Nugget. That just happens to be where a lot of us are staying. So, but it's going to be seriously fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We're very, very fortunate that all of our friends like Wade and a lot of other people in the chat have decided to come and help us out and help make this event a fantastic event for all of you guys. we're super excited. I know that half of the battle is getting some really good content and making it worthwhile for you to spend the money and make a trip and learn from the people that have all these different types of business models. I know that I'm planning on learning a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about
there
that.
are a lot of our speakers are people that are doing it completely differently than we do. So there's going to, and successfully. And so there's definitely going to be hopefully a lot of inspiring stuff going on, and just generally lots of fun because we're going to be getting to party with each other. We're staying downtown as well. So it's going to be super cool.
And we do have, I wanted to say one thing, those of you that are watching, not only is eBay a main sponsor of the event and endorsing the event, they are sending several employees.
I think like six
employees, I believe,
crazy.
A couple of speakers to talk about certain topics. But also eBay will be sending a dedicated merchant support person.
Oh, yes, yes.
So we will have a table set up in our vendor room that is going to have a dedicated eBay merchant support person. So if you have questions, concerns, or issues with your account or anything to do with your account specifically, you'll be able to sign up to have one-on-one dedicated customer support.
Yep.
In person, dive deep into your account, into any issues.
Absolutely.
So that is something that is pretty fun, and they have had that at past eBay opens, and it's been very successful.
Yeah. Melanie, we're not going to be filming the events. We will be doing like regular social media updates and videos and pictures, and we're going to make sure everybody's using the same hashtags. It'll be easier for people to follow along with it. We are going to have the final day on Thursday. The last session before the big party is going to be a live Katy and Vicki show, like an hour and a half show that's going to involve a lot of the people that are there. So at that part, you guys will be able to participate. We will do some prizes for people that are at home, and there's a lot of prizes for the people that are actually coming, like laptops and some other big stuff. But we just don't have the capacity to be able to, we don't have the money to be able to do it, or this is our first time doing this, and we need to really keep it simple logistically because we want to make sure.
It's just not in our budget to do it this year. Next year, we do endeavor to have tickets for sale for the virtual part. Yeah, it's obviously not something that can be done for free. So it's not something that we're able to set up and provide this year.
We wouldn't be doing it ourselves. And this year we couldn't possibly do that. So that's just kind of where it's at. So that's the way we see it. All right, guys. But as I said, 3 parts of the show. Middle part, we show you some of the sales highlights from this last week, whether it's bolos or something that we think is educational, something you might be able to be able to learn from. And then the last part of our show is the haul portion, which is pretty light today, unfortunately, because we were out of town and
I got none.
Yeah, so sorry guys. So this might be a slightly shorter show, depending on how long I talk about.
Well, we just talked for 20 minutes, so maybe not.
Whatever. Whatever, guys. All right. So let's go ahead and get into our show and look at our numbers first. I will say last week, the title of our show was, you be quiet. Last week, the title of our show was like the reseller struggle is real. And this week, I'm pretty sure your numbers are almost exactly the same as they were last week. Real close anyway.
They're very close.
Mine are even worse than they were last week. My sales have not been this bad since Picture Palooza, which was like 3 summers ago. And that was when I was only selling on eBay. And my numbers were about where they are right now, except because it was only eBay, I was in full panic. It sucked. This year, thank God, I have all these other platforms I'm on because it can just make me, I can be annoyed, but it's not like the end of the world for me. It's not like I can't pay the bills kind of thing. So, all right, let's go ahead and share this. Seriously, guys, 12 eBay orders. 12. It's been 17 days since I've even hit $250 in sales on eBay. That's really sad. 12 eBay orders.
Are you sure your store wasn't off?
I don't know. I'm thinking, who knows? But 12 eBay orders, 9 Etsy orders, nothing on Instagram, and then 4. It's actually only 4 Grailed, no Mercari orders this week. So a total of 25 items. Now, to be fair, we were out of town, but I did make sure to list 2 things each day, even while
I was out of town too.
I know. Why you guys shame you guys? She's so mean. She's so mean. Look at that eBay. Last week I was at least over 700. My payout, I do weekly payouts. My payout on this last Tuesday was like barely over $500. It was rough.
Oh.
Anyway, eBay guys, $695.30. What in the what? Etsy Etsy, like even better than eBay this week, $785.55, nothing for Instagram. And then Grilled, with those 4 sales, I had $237 in sales. Total gross didn't even hit 2,000. I don't think I did last week either. I don't remember. $1,717.85. Shipping.
That's pathetic.
It's real pathetic, guys. It's real pathetic. My shipping, $107.38. You can see the breakdown of the fees. My cost of goods, $280. And my net, at least my net's over 1,000, I guess, $1,148.13. My gross average sale price, $68.71. I'm always trying to get 70 and above, but I mean, eBay, I think I'm showing like 2 things I sold this week in the next segment because my eBay stuff was not anything that's impressive. My net average sale price, $45.93. Yikes. I need to really get to list on some stuff because this is.
Ooh, Greg says first week I beat Katy in eBay sales, 50 gold stars.
Nice.
Should be lots of gold stars. Yeah, that's a rough ouch.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know if we've been showing.
Tommy said I've been watching 2 years. Yeah, I don't think Katy's been this low before.
I think we didn't start showing our numbers until like after Picture Palooza. It was like we've only been showing our numbers, I think, for a couple of years now. So yeah, real rough. So me 12 orders on eBay, you 35. Show off.
Well, no, this was a decent week. It wasn't terrible and it wasn't fantastic. It was a good week, right? 35 orders on eBay, 4 on Etsy. Etsy was pretty slow this week. 14 on Poshmark. I am doing pretty well in Poshmark. Poshmark is consistently about $2,000 a month. So I have to say, I still flipping hate Poshmark, but I like the money going into my bank account, right?
Yep.
2 on Mercari, 1 private sale for a total of 56 outgoing orders. I think I had 55 last week. I'm always in the 50 to 60 range until we hit Q4. So just under $1,700 on eBay, $258 on Etsy, Poshmark $454. Mercari was $74 for those 2 orders, and that private sale I did was $281. It was to one of our watchers of the show, one of the viewers of the show.
Which, despite popular belief, it does not happen often at all.
Yeah, no, I think I can count on 2 hands how many sales I have made to YouTube watchers in the 3.5 years we've been doing YouTube. So my total sales were $27.4106, shipping $257, eBay $202, Etsy, Poshmark, Mercari. There were no sales, no costs for my private sale. It was a Facebook. It was done through private sale and friends and family on PayPal, so no fees there. My cost of goods $171. Just like Katy, unlike Katy, I should say, I keep my cost of goods very, very low. So my total net sales just under $2,000, which is pretty good. I like to be around 2,500 net, but 2,000 is doable. 1986.80. My gross average sale price, as I've talked about the past few weeks, is just under $50. It is a little bit lower than average. I have been selling a lot more bread and butter items because of my recent acquisition of items that I have for my private buyer, or my private seller, I should say. So that's going to bring my average sale price down, but my cost of goods acquisition is pretty low. Mm-hmm. So net average sale price $35.48.
Nice.
So Christine asked a question. If you offer free shipping on Poshmark, do you have to ship priority even if the item is under £1? Yes. With Poshmark, you are only allowed to use their shipping labels, and every single one is priority. Mm. So actually, Poshmark is probably the easiest platform. You're using their labels. If you're offering free shipping, you are just subtracting that from the revenue you make on that sale. Yeah. They send you the thing. And Dana, I have applied for the second time to be on Thrilling. So I'm pretty excited.
Dana's been killing it on Thrilling. I don't know if you guys
she's made 7 sales.
Have heard of that platform, but it's a new platform that you have to like request to be added, and they may or may not do it. But
it's just for vintage. Killing it. It's just for vintage. It's curated. Yeah. It's highly curated vintage, and that is what Dana sells, and it is a large majority of what I sell as well. So.
But for anybody who maybe they've just recently started selling this last year or something like that, we've talked about this. It is typical and pretty normal for sales to be lower in the summertime. It's not going to happen to everybody, but it is very normal, especially July and August, and retail can be pretty rough. I also think that, because last summer, a lot of people weren't going out. Generally, it's like summertime. People want to go out and do stuff. You got to remember, we had the pandemic last year. A lot of people weren't doing a whole lot. So this is I feel like this is like super summer. It's like super summer. People are feeling a lot more freedom to go out and travel. And so basically what I'm saying is, don't get discouraged. You should always be looking at the stuff that you're trying to sell and kind of deciding, am I selling stuff that people actually want? And if you feel pretty good about the stuff you're selling, don't get discouraged. Keep building up your inventory. We are going to hit fourth quarter in the near future. And everything that you're doing right now is getting you prepared for hopefully a really good fourth quarter, which I think this year is going to be a lot. It's going to make up for last year's fourth quarter.
I just want to talk about, yes, there are so many different types of platforms. I'm going to say, and I'm going to just put this out here, if you're spreading yourself super thin and you're listing on 9, 10, 11, 12 platforms, unless you are doing significant sales on a large number of those platforms, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
It's nothing wrong with you branching out and trying a bunch of platforms to see what sticks. But if you try for several months and you don't see any significant sales on a specific platform, then that's not the platform for you, right? Or it's not the platform for your product. For me, I'm still adding to Depop. I'm going to give Depop through the end of this year and see how my fourth quarter goes. But for me, for some reason, Depop isn't quite working. Maybe I don't have the right product. I shouldn't say that because I know I have the right product. It's maybe my stuff is too expensive because I don't race to the bottom with pricing. So we'll see how it works. But for me, I'm definitely focused on the platforms that give me the best revenue.
Yeah.
Thrilling is one that I have found through Facebook ads. And I think that's where Dana found it as well. I applied for Thrilling when they first started showing ads 3 or 4 months ago. And I think my application just got lost. And so I just reapplied the other day. So I'm definitely going to be using that. So Thrilling is not something that is supported by List Perfectly, but if you go and do a little bit of investigating on the item, on the platform itself, you're basically uploading your stuff for them and they take care of it from there. So it's completely different.
You just got to figure out which ones are going to work for you, which ones are going to make sense for your business model. I hate Mercari. It's my lowest revenue generating platform. But when I break down the time I spend on it, I'm still making like $50 an hour with the work I do on that one. I probably will drop it if I add another platform just because it's like I don't want to spread myself too thin. The next one I'm looking at is BidStitch, which is a big in the vintage Instagram community because it was started by a couple of big names in that community. So that's kind of the next one I have my eyes on specifically for my niche. But there's a million of them out there, guys. So you just got to know what's going to work for you. Okay, you ready to look at what we look at our sales highlights?
Yes, I have seen that, Gail. Thrilling has a new service where you can bring your stuff to them and they do all of the work. They basically do what My Crystal does, but they're not available. That's not available in every city. It's only available in the New York area right now.
That's pretty cool, though.
That service. But yes, that's basically what lovely Rosie's Closet Crystal does for me as my lister.
Oh, Shailene sold 2 on Grail for the first time. Very, very cool. Congrats. Okay. Let's go ahead and look at our sales highlights for the week, starting with you, which got here.
So I don't have a ton of fantastic or awesome things to show this week. I have to say it's only there's only a handful of really good things to show. This is one that when I try to show you something that is sold for a decent price, but most people would like, when you're doing your research and people talk about the race to the bottom and all that kind of thing, this is just a vintage, no-name plaid skirt that I picked up for $4, literally no name, like the style J, style T. I don't even know what the heck it is, but it's not a name that anyone is looking for. So when you're doing research on clothing, you need to sell and learn to sell your item based on your description and on style, not just a brand name. When you're looking at mediocre to low-end brand names, but you know you've got a cute item, don't be listing it for $15 or saying it's not worth it because you look at the comps. Clothing is something that is very nuanced, especially when you're talking about vintage clothing. There's definitely, this is something like I paid $4 for this at Deseret. It sold for $59.96, which was on sale. It was 25% off. But if you just had something there, you want to just add your keywords. What drew the person to buy this skirt? It certainly was not the brand name.
Yeah, you don't even have the brand name in the title.
I don't have the brand name in the title.
Point.
If there's no value to adding the brand name to the title, I don't put it in the title.
But I'm assuming you have it down. Yeah, so you have it here. So if somebody, for some random weird reason, was searching by brand name, they would still be able to find it, but there's no point in wasting the space on your title.
Right. And then the other thing, if you scroll a little further down, again, we all hate eBay's item specifics. I realize we do. But what you do is if you fill in the majority of your item specifics, all of these things are helping with your SEO, which is your search engine optimization.
Mm-hmm.
So I pick a theme. I pick a couple of themes sometimes. And in this case, it was grunge. You know, that whole denim plaid thing is grunge. That's a whole grungy thing from the 90s. But plaid is also a country thing. So I kind of threw together a bunch of words and threw it in there.
So Danny wants to know, is there a difference between cottagecore and country core?
I think cottagecore is having its moment right now as far as some keywords, and I think country is kind of, it's a crossover with cottagecore depending on the item. Like, because this is plaid and it's a denim skirt, that definitely would work with someone wearing a pair of cowboy boots as far as country. Mm-hmm. Or you could put this with some Doc Martens and tie, and a wife beater, and it would be grunge. So it really, that's why I used both of those words. To you? Cottagecore is more of a, that's why I don't have cottagecore.
I know, but she's asking about the difference.
So cottagecore is more florals, muted florals. I did a post in the Boss group a couple of months ago with a bunch of cottagecore for decor and clothing. If you want to do a search, it kind of defines it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else on this one?
No, that was it.
Okay. First one I have. So this one did not sell for the amount you see there, but I just listed this, I don't know, maybe a week or so ago. And I wanted to show this one because this is one of those themes that always sells for me. These volcano t-shirts. I don't know what the deal is. I can always sell them for like around $50. So I listed this one. So it would pretty much go on sale right away for $69.99. I think I might have sent an offer or somebody made the offer to me. Anyway, it sold for $50. And like I said, I only had it listed for maybe a week or so. I mean, I'm not going to get much more than that. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'm going to get it for the full price on Etsy for $69.99. But for me, that price point, I'm hitting for at least $50. So if I can get an offer for that, I'm just going to go ahead and accept it. I'm not going to go back and forth. But you'll see in my haul, I have another volcano t-shirt. But seriously, guys, I always sell these. So if you find a t-shirt like this,
sorry,
I sold it for $50. I paid $10 for it, and it went to Canada, so I didn't even have to pay shipping. They paid for shipping, so I made even more money.
Nice.
So seriously, if you find a shirt like this with volcanoes on it, this kind of shirt, $10, easy choice to spend it on that, because you're going to be able to flip it, and it's not going to sit around forever. I don't know why, but people like volcanoes and they move fast.
So I think Danny's correct. Glassware and tchotchkes and things like that is her niche. That's why, the niche lady is her name. I know crap about glassware. So if I ever, God forbid, find anything glassware, Danny's my person I'm going to ask about it, because I know nothing about nothing when it comes to that. So what I think, she's right. I think finding something vintage, it's something over time that you're just going to get a feel for. A lot of it is going to be tags, construction, styles, but it's not a definitive thing. It's probably the most difficult thing to define about fashion.
Yeah.
People ask all the time. That was one of the panels I was planning on doing at our Reseller Remix, is more in depth on fashion, women's vintage. I think we're going to have to do that one next year. It's just too much information.
The reality is, even when it comes to, it's even more difficult when you're talking about the stuff that Vicki sells, because there's so much more variety. But even when you look at something very simple that you would think would be simple, like t-shirts, there are a million things that you can point to that are clues, but it's all kind of has to come together. And the bottom line
is sometimes it's the truth, and sometimes it's not. There's no hard and fast rules. So it's a very difficult thing to teach. It's something that you just need to learn over time through trial and error.
Yeah.
That's the only way that
And with t-shirts, when it comes to because vintage t-shirts are so hot right now, there's certain ones that sell for such high dollar amounts that there are even fakes being made of them. Like current fakes made, like wrap tees and different ones like that. And there are people who are getting very, very good at it. And so it's crazy. It's all crazy.
Dana's like, it's kind of like when you know. And I know that's not a good answer, but it's one of the best ones that I can give. Vintage is just very, very nuanced.
But that's where I would say, if you watch shows like this one, especially this part of it where we are showing prices and we show all the pictures, and Vicki talks about it, that's going to go a long ways. If you can't go out and do it yourself right away, you're going to learn a lot from Vicki when she talks about what makes something vintage or not vintage.
And that's why I just went in depth. That's why I just went in depth for 5 minutes about a plaid skirt.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. Let's go to the next one for you.
This is just a vintage members only racer jacket. They're pretty popular. I think everybody knows
This
that.
one isn't even vintage.
This one is somewhat vintage because it has the gray black scale, but it is not. It's like early 2000s vintage. It is, they have different tags, and different tags are going to tell you which are the best ones. The real vintage ones are going to have European size tags, and it's going to have a rainbow tag on the inside. Yeah. So this one is probably early 2000s. Yes, it's vintage, but barely. Mm-hmm. I'm not even sure I put it as vintage. Because it's made in Sri Lanka and it has that tag on it. Yeah. But it's sold for the price you see there. I think I picked this up at the bins. Cost me under $1. It's under £1. So $59.96 is what I sold it for.
Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Next up, I did not sell it for this much. This is this cool Where the Wild Things Are t-shirt. It's like a spring break. I don't know what this was exactly from, but I've seen other ones like it. But it's like a spring break t-shirt from the 90s. You can see the Fruit of the Loom tag. So this is kind of where you can learn about, dating stuff. This Fruit of the Loom tag is definitely from the 90s. It's a single stitch t-shirt. You can tell even by the construction of it. If it didn't have that tag, I would be able to tell from the single stitch and the construction of the collar and be pretty confident that it's from the 90s. And so this one, I paid like $50 to Jesse at Yesterday's Fits. I've only had it up for a few weeks. I knew this is one of those ones where I'm going to pay up because I know it's going to sell. I don't have to worry about it sitting around forever. And I ended up taking an offer for $100, partially because the person making the offer was in Japan. So I sold it for $100. They paid for shipping. I now mark pretty much all my shirts at 9 ounces because they get charged, even if it's under 9 ounces, because then they get charged a certain amount of calculated shipping for their international shipping. And so I made extra money from that, plus I didn't have to pay for the shipping myself. So definitely a good flip. I'm happy to pay $50 on a t-shirt I'm going to sell for $100 if I know it's going to go in a few weeks.
And I agree. I think if you are someone that wants to learn about glassware and vintage pottery and things like that, Danny has a wealth of knowledge about that type of stuff. You are never going to see that on this channel. Clothing and vintage items and hard goods and things like that, both men's and women's vintage. You're definitely going to see a lot of that.
She also does like daily videos, and they're not an hour and a half long each. So
that's true. That's true too. You are never going to learn glassware from me or from Katy. So not that we don't love and appreciate all of you that watch us, but Danny has a lot of information on her channel as well. And the same way, like she said, she comes here to learn from us. She comes here to learn about clothing because she hates clothing. So,
all right. Why don't you tell us about this?
This is another thing I wanted to talk about. Okay. Yes. I broke the rule. I'm using a stock photo, but you know why I'm using a stock photo?
Comfort.
It's a discontinued item. So I wasn't really concerned about it.
Still against the rules, but not super high risk.
Yeah. So anyway, I had a stock photo because I think it was important to show how this fit and how it looked on the model. I paid $4 for this at Deseret. It's just J. Crew. If you look at J. Crew and you do some, it's the black label, which is the better J. Crew. It's not from the outlet or anything like that. But if you do a look and just look for J. Crew denim skirt, and you look at your average sold price, and that's what you base your comps or your pricing off of, you're probably going to list it for like $25.
Yep.
But because I knew that it was one that you couldn't find. It's a classic style and you can't find it. So I listed it for $69.95 and did.
And that's what it sold for?
And that's what it sold for.
Nice. All right. Next up is, I only showed 2 things from my eBay sales. That's how much I hate eBay this week, based on my sales anyway. Etsy, on the other hand, while I didn't sell as many items, I sold at higher price points and overall made more money on that platform this week. And I sold this awesome $6 Million Man t-shirt. I got a whole bunch of those iron-on, mostly kid-size t-shirts from the 70s and early 80s from Yesterday's Fits. Paid $15 a piece for all of them. So this one's like a youth size 14, 16. I mean, it's real freaking tiny. But brand new, just a really cool t-shirt, and it sold, let's see what it sold for.
I love these shirts too, Dana. I totally love them.
I couldn't pass them up.
Noelle's in the chat too.
That's like I know Britt had seen a bunch of these and he didn't buy them because he just hates with the kids stuff, and I do too. But you know what? If it's anything movie or TV related in its kid size, I'm still going to get it, and it's more just because of what I like, not because I actually think I'm going to be able to easily sell them. But I've sold a few of these so far, so I'm actually pretty happy about it. So let's see what this one sold for. It was 10% off, so I sold it for $89.99. So again, I paid $15 for the shirt and sold it for $89.99. So pretty stoked about that. Dana, you're gonna have to tell Johnny that I sold this. I think he was the one that was talking about $6 million man. So yeah. All right. Next up.
Oh, see, Sandra did get the Willie Ames one.
There you go.
I knew there was one. Willie Ames is the is a friend of Dana and her husband, and I thought that was pretty funny. I did see one of those in their haul video.
There you go. Very cool. All right, go ahead. What's this?
This is another bins find. Okay, I actually really love going to the bins here in Vegas. I never thought I'd say that, but I really love it. No, Corey and I go, every other week or so. And what I like about it is I'm not one of the bros, so I'm not looking to grab the things that they are. They leave this crap behind all day long, all the time. So I'll let them fight over the t-shirts, and I go and get the vintage stuff. So I paid maybe $3 or $4 for this because it's kind of heavy. It's a really, really beat up top grain leather jacket. You can see it from all the photos. I was pretty candid with the photos and the description as far as how beat up it is. Yep. Lots of scratches, and it's top grain leather. So it also shows every bit of creasing and scratching to begin with. But I paid like $5 for this, and I took an offer for $85. Plus shipping. So $5 and $85. I've had it listed for maybe 6 or 7 weeks. I'm okay with that.
Nice. Allison says she has my grape lime shaved ice waiting for me, and it's melting. I'm very sad about it.
Nice.
All right. Next up for me, another Etsy sale. Like I said, I think the rest of mine are all Etsy. So this is just a cool Milky Way Galaxy t-shirt. It's like an airbrushed t-shirt, and it's funny because if you see on here, it's got this guy Rick Powers, 1997, Berkeley, California, and I actually found like an article. He was just some guy, like an artist, obviously, but I found like somebody's blog post about seeing him selling t-shirts at some like street festival or something like that in Berkeley, and he would airbrush them himself, and so it was just kind of cool to like find out some of the history behind who made this shirt. But it's space, so of course I'm gonna love it. It's very small, size small, but I really haven't had this listed for very long. I hadn't even put it away yet. So I'm
loving the Willie Ames chat love. And by the way, Dana, I hope you're screenshotting this so you can send it to him because I think it's hysterical.
You think he's never heard of people fawning over him before?
No, I'm sure he has, but maybe not in the thrifter reseller world. And I think it's funny. Yeah, I was a big fan of him on Charles in Charge, actually. Never mind 8 is Enough. So 8 is Enough, he was still a little kid. Charles in Charge, he was cute.
All right. So I believe I paid $10 for this. I just think it's a cool shirt. So what did it sell for? And bam, also 10% off. So I sold it for $89.99. Actually, this one would have sold for, this one sold for $99.99. Because it wouldn't have gone on sale yet. So I sold this for the full price you see there, $99.99. And again, I paid $10 for it. So pretty.
I bet he does get a kick out of it, Dana. I think it's funny. So I hope you're screenshotting that chat for him. The chat for him. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's funny. I loved him in Charles in Charge too. I loved Scott Baio. I was a big Scott Baio fan. I mean, not so much these days. He's kind of a dick, but he was pretty cute when he was young.
Yeah. All right. You ready?
Yep.
You got a 4-pack here.
So this I'm just showing a little 4-pack again. What I was talking about the past few weeks, we know those of you that watch the channel know that I have a weekly source that I'm picking up 75 to 100 items from, and the items are costing me $4 a piece, and they are all 90s into early 2000s vintage. Almost all women's clothing, and a lot of it is mediocre bread and butter stuff, but for the most of it, for $4, whether I'm selling it for 30 or selling it for 75, I think it's I think it's still selling. So a lot of what I'm getting again is that 90s, early 2000s, which is that grunge era. So those slip dresses are definitely grunge. And this is one of them. So I just wanted to show you, I sold about 6 or 7 of them on Poshmark as well, but I just wanted to show you a quick 4 so you can see some of the keywords and to see which 90s and 2000s items are selling. You don't want to pick up everything 90s, right? Not everything is worth reselling. So again, all of these I paid $4 a piece for. This is one of them. It sold for what you see there, $37.46. This is another one that sold for the price you see there, $52.46. Again, these slip dresses. Think of Courtney Love wearing this with a trashed jacket over it and some Doc Martens, right? Or big clunky shoes with the big, huge stacked heel. Or even those Steve Madden slides with the big elastic thing on the top of your foot, and then it was the big clog shoe. So this type of stuff is selling really well right now. So 90s and early 2000s, which is Y2K, as Leah says, Cherry Darling. That's what you want to use as your keywords. Okay, so this is another one. So that sold for $52. This is another one, BCBG. We've talked before. BCBG on its own is kind of a shit brand, but in the 90s, it was hot. In the 90s and early 2000s, BCBG was hot. So think of those BCBG styles. Those are the ones that you want to sell. A lot of these things are new that I've gotten, and this is another one sold for $52.
Plus shipping.
Plus shipping. All of these are plus shipping. I don't do free shipping. This one sold for $69.95. This is another brand that I've gotten a lot of from this woman from the haul. It's laundry, which is Shelly Segal. Or Siegel, I don't know. Anyway, so this brand is still around and still sells very well, but these all happen to be from that 90s era. Remember these dresses, all the beading and the halter necks and these slip dresses, and they have lots of layers and these uneven handkerchief hems. That's totally 90s or Y2K. And this one sold for the price you see there, $69.95. So even though a lot of these dresses are going to sell in the $30 to $40 range, they're selling fairly quickly for me. So at $4 a piece, I'm perfectly happy to throw them up there.
Yep, Dana, $4.70 all day long.
They're selling pretty quickly. So I'm pretty happy with that. There's a lot of mediocre stuff that's going to sit for a while, but on average, I'm going to more than make my money back for these. If I am selling every week, if I'm listing 75 to 100 pieces every week, and I'm selling just 10 of them at an average of $40 a piece, I've already made my money back on those 10.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have another 75, which is all profit.
Absolutely. All right. Next up, you're going to like this. Hold this one.
Ooh, I like this one.
Ski your tuts off.
I thought that was a funny one.
So this is another one that is pretty small. Let me see. Yeah, it's like 18 and a half inches across the chest. Pretty small shirt, but this is one that Jesse sent me a picture, and he was like, hey, got the shirt in for you. He knows to save the ski stuff for me. And it's just a really cool 80s t-shirt. I like the vibe on it. It's pretty awesome. So I've had this listed for maybe a month now. It didn't go super fast, but I paid $15 for it. And let's see what it sold for. I'm telling you, Etsy's doing not too bad for me for a week in July, doing over $700 in 1 week. I can be happy with that. 10% off. So $89.99.
Nice.
$15 for it. Sold it for $89.99. Seriously, guys, it doesn't have to be a band t-shirt to make big money. It doesn't have to be some of the stuff that's super hyped. I can make money on the stuff.
I'm going to say, so I wanted to answer that question. Noelle, it said, so would that be considered grunge core? I would say no. I know we joke about putting the word core on the end of everything, and core, granny core, academia core, dark academia, hipster, rockabilly, psychobilly, horrorbilly. All of these words are key words to use in fashion. Grunge is another one. I wouldn't put core after grunge. I would put core after the cottage core, after granny core, after certain things, but I wouldn't put it after grunge. It's kind of
grunge
it's not fashion. Necessary.
Grunge is fashion. Yeah. So cottage, the word cottage alone is not fashion. Cottage core is specifically talking about a type of fashion. So grunge, it already is that word. So it wouldn't even make sense to put that onto the end of it.
Yeah. So I know you might have been joking, but yes. I did want to address that, like why different words work as keywords and why they don't. So
Aaron says, The word core is the complete opposite of what grunge is. So no. True
I
story.
know, see, I knew you were joking. I knew you were joking, but just in case other people didn't, I wanted to address that because it was a good question, actually.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's kind of one of those, one of those things that you just learn to pick up the keywords, follow people on TikTok. I hate TikTok. I don't really follow people on TikTok, but if you like TikTok, follow fashion people. I follow people on Instagram. My Instagram account is not for me to build followers. My Instagram account is just to follow other resellers because I learn a lot from other resellers and other fashionistas. That kind of, teaches me.
And we're really bad at putting out enough content.
We're kind of like
we're barely hanging on our YouTube show.
We're just as bad at Instagram as we are at YouTube, for sure.
Okay. You ready? Ready for the next one?
Mm-hmm.
What you got here?
Oh, so I've had this for a while. I actually got this in Torgum. Katy picked this up for me in Torgum, I believe. So I paid either $10 or $15 for this. I picked up a whole lot of Pendleton stuff. I've had it for quite a while. I knew it was going to sit for a bit, but either $10 or $15 was what I paid for this. Pendleton smoking jacket. It's that hideous poop brown plaid. It sat for maybe a year and a half or so, and I'm not really worried.
All right, let's see what it sold for.
Mm-hmm. Sold for $189.95.
That's really good. That's higher than even I usually end up selling them for.
Yeah, it sold pretty high, and it's just because I didn't have a sale going, and I don't have sales very often on Etsy.
But you should definitely never be selling these for under $100. So it just depends on how fast you want to move them through. You should never be selling these for less than $100. And I feel like they don't get the love that like the Pendleton board shirts do. But they are super, super cool. You should always be grabbing these robes, board shirts.
I will say, and I know Allison, if she's still in the chat, she'll back me up on this. Pendleton is real soft lately. Mm-hmm. Pendleton, while I will not say Pendleton has jumped the shark, and I will still pick up Pendleton items, you are not getting the money on vintage board shirts that you were 6 months ago or a year ago. Pendleton in general has kind of petered out a little bit, and I think that's more because it was there are other things that are in favor right now. And Pendleton is a staple. If you can get it cheap enough, you're always going to do well with it, especially vintage Pendleton. But right now it's not as hot as it was 6 months or a year ago.
But anything like board shirts, these smoking jackets, robes, you should never balk at paying $15 for one of them. Even if they're not going to sell as fast as they used to, they're always going to sell. So, All right.
And again, there are plenty of people that are not looking to hold on to something for a year and a half. I totally respect that and understand it. My business model is I don't really care because I'm constantly turning over long tail items because I've been doing this for so long and have such a large inventory that if it takes a year or a year and a half for me to sell something that I paid $10 for $189, I don't care because at the same time I'm selling something from the previous thing that I've had for 6 months or whatever. So,
Karen, there's definitely reseller content on TikTok. A lot of the reason why we hate TikTok is because we're old and we're getting to that age. I mean, yes, I know I'm joking. We're in our 40s, but we are getting to that age where anytime something new comes out, you got to resist, man. But definitely, I will say that there's a reason why Instagram introduced the Reels because it's very similar to TikTok, and TikTok is becoming more and more popular. I know TikTok just launched a program right now where they are seeking out more small businesses and sellers. And I'm seeing a lot of the bigger accounts on Instagram are starting to do more TikTok videos and Reels.
There's a reason why it's like all of these platforms. Okay. So, don't get me wrong. If you ask a 20 something, if they are on Facebook, they're going to say, no, that's for my mother or my grandmother, right? Facebook is for old people like us. Facebook is still a fantastic way to communicate, and I completely understand it. But understand this, that young people are not on Facebook. They don't give a shit about Facebook. Snapchat was okay for a minute. That's gone. Nobody does Snapchat anymore. They're going to be on Instagram and using the Reels, not just Instagram posts, Instagram using Reels and stories, or they're going to be on TikTok.
There are a lot of Instagram people, you'll notice that their posts, they're doing like maybe one every couple of weeks, but every day they're doing stories and Reels and multiple times a day. So we're resisting it, but the reality is that's where it's moving. And yes, older people like it too, Noelle. I know. It's just the reality is it's the youngins are going to be all doing it, and it's the older people are going to be a little bit more resistant.
It's hard enough. So yes, and we're going to be resistant for a lot of reasons. It's a time suck. And the reality is, if you are running a business that requires you to work 10 hours a day, spending 2 hours a day on social media creating content is not something I have time for. That's me. Your mileage may vary, but I don't have time.
Yeah, it just depends on where you're at. Okay, let's go back, and I'm going to close this out with my own 4-pack. I had somebody ask me about, first they asked me about this Paul McCartney t-shirt, and they said, hey, would you take this amount for it? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then they were like, oh, I like these other 3 things as well. Well, how much would you take for those? And so we kind of worked out a deal. Or actually, they didn't even ask me how much I would take. They basically said, would you take $200 for this Paul McCartney, which I had listed for $300? I said, absolutely. And then they said, how about these other 3 things? Would you take $440 total? And I was like, are you kidding me? Absolutely. So I sold 4 items for $440. The small discount they were asking for was still more than my lowest prices would have been on all 4 of these items. So it turned out to be fantastic for me. I'm not going to go and show you all the prices. You can go look them up yourself, just because it's going to take forever for me to post everything. But I'll show you, like, for instance, this Paul McCartney one. I adjusted the prices because they were in a 10% off sale. So like you'll see this one says 22222. That's because 10% off that is $200. So this one ended up being $40. It's a Sandy Beach body surfing t-shirt. This Robbie Knievel t-shirt ended up being $80. I think I picked this one up for probably $10. For $5. This t-shirt. The Robbie one I paid $20 for. Then there's this Universal Studios King Kong. I got this at Torgum. I think I paid $10 for it. This one I sold for $120. And then, of course, the Paul McCartney, I think I paid $50 to Jesse at Yesterday's Fits and sold it for $200. So total cost of goods for these 4 pieces alone, $85, but I turned them into $440. And this is what I love about Etsy is Etsy, more than any other platform. Occasionally I'll have somebody buy multiple items from me on eBay, but Etsy is where I get my repeat buyers, and it's where I get my bulk buyers. I will sell, it doesn't happen all the time, but I never have it happen on eBay where all of a sudden I've sold 8 items to one person. That happens on Etsy, and it happens relatively frequently.
It doesn't happen to me on any platform. So consider yourself lucky.
I'm selling in a niche. I'm selling almost entirely t-shirts and sweatshirts.
It's true.
So somebody can go in and they can shop my store, and they're going to find more than one thing that they like for themselves.
That's true.
So it makes sense. That's where having a niche makes sense. That's one of the perks of having a niche, is that you do have somebody come and shop your store. But it happens on Etsy way more than it happens on eBay. I think on Etsy, people are more used to the idea of stores. Whereas on eBay, they're just looking at products. They're not necessarily thinking about, well, what else does the seller have? So anyway, that's all I got to say about that.
All right.
That's all I got to say about that. But I do love me some Etsy.
Okay. I do too. Etsy's still my favorite platform.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually neck and neck with Posh is actually neck and neck with Etsy as far as being my second highest in sales. I think Posh is going to be about $30,000 this year, and I think Etsy is going to be 25 to 30 for me, and eBay is still around the 100, 110. So the reality is that I should like Posh a heck of a lot more than I do, but I don't.
Yeah, but Etsy's like, I don't know, better. The buyers are better. They're less hassle. They pay higher prices. The fees are still pretty much lower than just about every other platform, because altogether it's like 8.5%. Although now they've got like all their advertising fees on top of that.
I don't sell very many items with advertising.
Yeah, so it is what it is. Anyway, last part of the show. Our haul section. What do you got to show us?
I got 0.
She
I have nothing.
Yeah.
So she
has a bunch of like stuff, but it's just.
I have a bunch of stuff that came back, but it's really all the $30 to $40 mediocre. I have nothing exciting to show. Let's just say it's literally just bread and butter junk.
So I just have stuff that I had gotten last Sunday when I went to Yesterday's Fits. So I showed you guys kind of the stuff that I thought was the best out of that haul. And Vicki hasn't seen any of it other than the stuff I showed last week because I came home too late. What?
Good question, Christine. My dollar amount is my dollar amount on Posh as high as Etsy? No, not at all. My average dollar amount on Posh is my lowest platform. Average sale amount on Posh is about $35 to $45. So let's call it 40. $40 on Posh. It's generally 55 to 60 on eBay, and it's 75 to 80 on Etsy.
That's awesome.
So that tells you what the buyers are like. So I'm selling almost twice as many items on Posh for the same dollar amount as I am on Etsy.
But
so
I feel like
question.
I feel like all the stuff that you're getting now is probably going to be a lot of really good Posh stuff because it's like lower price stuff, a lot of new with tags, women's clothing. Anyway, as I was saying, but I was rudely interrupted. None of the stuff, Vicki hasn't seen any of this stuff, so maybe she'll actually pay attention.
I am going to pay attention. I may have to go to the restroom because I'm drinking so much water. I can't.
Well, we're in the last
wait
part.
Half an hour.
So first up, I have this shirt. It's sleeveless by design, and I didn't even know what it was when I grabbed it. I was just like, I like the design on that.
I have the Janet Jackson song in my head.
Not because it's a cat shirt, but just it is a cool design. It says Black Cat, and it says Black Cat is the best you can get. We'll see if anybody in the chat knows what this is, but it doesn't have a date on it or anything. But I would guess it's most likely 90s because it says, well, it's made in the USA. It's single stitch, but it says large. Generally, if it was the 80s, it would be more likely to have the 40, 42 or whatever it is, 42, 44. Yeah, fireworks, exactly. It's firecrackers, Black Cat firecrackers and fireworks.
You're so wicked smart, Greg. You're wicked smart.
So just a really, really cool shirt. This one I did pay up a little bit for, and you're probably like, why would you pay it for something when you didn't even know what it was? I paid $25 for it, but I knew I would sell it for a good amount. So I will probably list this for 100, but hope I get at least 65. But I just think it's a really cool shirt. I liked it, and I knew it was going to be something interesting, and I was right. So there's that one.
You were right.
And I was right. So this one is a super worn and faded. Probably needs to have the bleach,
the Katy bleach,
the Jeepers bleached out of it. It's an event tee,
and you can tell it hasn't been washed because I'm doing this.
Yeah, but it's branded Michelob. It's 1981 open regatta. I survived again. So this is like a racing shirt, boat racing shirt. It says Outrigger Harbor Sailing Association.
We used to go hang out at a bar in on the water in Massachusetts in Fall River called the Regatta, but we used to call it the Regretta.
Yeah, the Regretta. But it says, I like that it said it's got the big Michelob on the back, so you can use keywords like breweryana. Such a weird word. Why do they have to make such a difficult word that drunk people can't possibly pronounce?
Just because you collect breweryana doesn't mean you're a drunk.
I'm kidding. Anyway, it's like the pocket tee, which
it's a little stanky.
Sorry.
Stop.
Sorry. Anyway, super cool shirt.
That totally reminded me of the
she used to drink some. I could not imagine Dana drinking Michelob, so that's pretty funny.
She used to drink. Okay. Now she's like me. She'll have
drink
one.
But she has
every
like
3 months.
Fruity drinks. I'm talking about her drinking a Michelob is funny to me, not her drinking alcohol. Jeez. So I got it too late to be able to capitalize on the whole Olympics craze going on right now. But this is USA Olympics single stitch. Now, I look at this tag, and the tag is this Levi's tag. And this is not dated
Levi's
at all.
did a lot of the 80s Olympic stuff. Oh, sorry.
However, it's not dated at all. However, Levi's had like the contract or whatever, all the clothing from the 1984 Olympics in LA was all Levi's branded. So like I have some t-shirts that are like people who actually worked at the Olympics, like the race, what do they call them? The people who keep the time and all that type of stuff. The staff t-shirts are all branded Levi when you look at the tags. They don't say Levi anywhere on the outside of the shirt, but they're made by Levi's. So this is definitely from the 1984 Olympic single stitch t-shirt. And hopefully it'll still sell well, even though the Olympics are going to be over by the time I get it listed. So anyway, Yeah, see, Greg says he wouldn't have pegged Dana as a Michelob girl. I don't even know. I'm trying to think if I've even ever had Michelob. If I've had it, it's been like one time a long time ago. I definitely never like went out of my way to buy Michelob.
I like Mick Ultra.
Mick Ultra. All right, next up is the super cute and in very good condition Hershey's Milk Chocolate t-shirt. Hershey's Milk Chocolate. That's like her favorite chocolate. And I'm like, I do not get it because it is not good chocolate. Like, if we're talking about cheap chocolate, just get a Dove bar. Like, Dove milk chocolate is better than Hershey's milk chocolate every day, all day, hands down. What do you have to say for yourself?
It's a matter of opinion.
Yeah, she also only likes vanilla ice cream. So you take that into consideration as well. But this is on a Screen Stars tag. So this is definitely an 80s t-shirt. I actually think this might be dead stock because the thing about these Screen Stars tags, the second you wash them, that tag is all crumpled and faded. And so when you got a tag like that, it's nice and crispy. And there's some nice fold marks still in the shirt. Pretty much guarantee that's a dead stock shirt. So, but if you remember all the shirts I got last week, they were doing like a buy one, get one free off of all their plastic hangers. So I paid like $5 to $10 for everything. So this probably was a $10 one. It could have been a $5 one. I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Okay, I can get on board with a pony keg of Sapporo. I like Sapporo a lot. Back in my day when we did the pony kegs and the kegs, it was like Schlitz beer. Like that was like the cheapest keg you could get for a party. So you get Schlitz. And when you would go get beer at the grocery store, if you wanted like watered down beer to be able to like drink all day, then you get the Blitz. I don't even know if they make Blitz or Schlitz anymore. So, all right. Next up, this one is just kind of an interesting one. Sort of a stack tee, I guess. It says team up for a safe summer. And it's Team Cheerios and
Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving. So I guess you eat your Cheerios. Stay away from that Michelob, guys, if you want to have a safe summer. But, yeah, it's quite. What are you doing? Why are you touching my shirt? It's a very heavy print. This is on a classic tee tag, worn and faded, but a single stitch. I don't think it has a date on it, but it definitely looks like it's 90s as opposed to like 80s. So kind of a fun shirt. I think you'll like this one.
The sun'll come out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was singing Annie.
It's a hard dark life for us. Anyway, Annie t-shirt. This is definitely from the 80s, from the early 80s, based on that Hanes tag right there. So I'm going to guess this is from the movie. It's a size small on the Beefy T Hanes tag. And it's just the little Annie t-shirt. So it's small, but it's super cute. It needs to be bleached. It's got a little spot on it.
I almost belted that one out. Paula said it's true. Well, I was doing my fake voice, so it wasn't a real singing voice.
Well, and I always give her a hard time because when she does break out into song on here, she doesn't give it everything. She kind of holds back a little bit. Like, you just got to go for it. You got to go for it, man.
Can you eat Cheerios with Michelob instead of milk? That's disgusting.
You absolutely could. The question is, should you?
You'd be gross, but you
Maybe. Could. I don't know. Anyway, next up for my nerds out there, I've got this very bright pink Doctor Who t-shirt.
Nerdcore.
My sci-fi nerds out there.
This is a cool one.
Single stitch. It's on a Fruvolume tag. And again, this one's generally 90s. Occasionally you'll see this on a late 80s t-shirt, but I'm going to say it's probably 90s.
Again, single stitch.
Nice and hot pink.
I like that one.
Yeah, you like it because it's pink. You could never wear it though.
Lori, Danny says, Lori, what's going to stop you? My gag reflex probably. Yeah, that's true. That's true. There is that.
All right, so that's it for the t-shirts. And like I said, everything, those ones were probably $5 ones because I think they pulled them off at the $10 rack. And that's what I really like about with yesterday's fits is, by the way, speaking of yesterday's fits and the Boss Reseller Remix, I was talking to Jesse about it this last week, and he said he's going to set some deal where if you come to shop in there and you have your lanyard or show that you were at the event, you're gonna get a special discount because you gotta go.
Ooh.
And let me tell you, they have such great prices on everything that you can get all kinds of cool stuff for super cheap. So, all right. Speaking of, remember I was telling you about the volcano stuff. I sold that one for $50, and I actually think this one's even cooler. And it might even be dead stock based on I can see the fold.
Oh, this is dead stock.
But
it's
says,
crispy.
Yeah, volcano Ohakaloa training area. Sorry, I couldn't see the P. It's on a Toltex tag. This is a 90s shirt for show. It is double stitch, but this one is still made in the US. So this is probably like later 90s. But still a very cool shirt. So I will list this at the same price I had the other one and try to sell it for minimum $50. But this one,
Lady loves BMC.
For.
You're funny. You're sweet. I do actually sing quite a lot, but that was not me really singing. That was me joking. That was not even a real voice.
All right, last up for the t-shirts. I think I said I already did all the t-shirts, but I had a couple more. This is like a Summerfest 1990. It's got like a
in Chickasaw Park
bootleg. A fake
Bart Simpson
on it, but this is from WLOU. It's a Louisville radio station. Summerfest 1990, 13:50 a.m. And
Kimothy says, I just drove on that road to the volcano.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Military base on the Big Island. Okay, cool. And this is on the Juanita tag 50/50. That's the tag you'll see a lot of times.
Hawaii Corps.
Yeah. You'll see this tag a lot of times on later 80s stuff, but this t-shirt's from 1990.
All right, what else you got?
All right, I got a little stack of sweatshirts. I always talk about picking up any of the sports-related, like college sweatshirts and pro sports sweatshirts. You're always going to do well with those. So I'm assuming I probably paid $10 for each of these because, like I said, I bought everything I was buying was off the $20 and $10 racks.
Quick question. So I wanted to say, Tommy, just go ahead and check their website or their Instagram for the hours that they're open. They're going to be open even though they're at the Remix. They're not going to close the store.
They're not attending the Remix.
They're not going to hang out at the Remix. They're going to come for the day that they're talking. I'm sure that they will stick around and talk to people, and hopefully they'll come and hang out at the party the last night as well. But they're not going to stay there for the whole thing. They're just coming to speak, I think.
Yeah.
On the other hand, Barry, will probably be there for at least the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. Although I don't know, he might want to be out finding steals like he always does. So I have this NCSU, North Carolina State University. I think this is a really nice design. Again, I paid like $10 for each of these. I will sell I'll probably have this listed for $70. Sell it for $60.
Yeah, I can't imagine the boys will be there for the whole 2.5 day event plus that night.
They won't have time.
They won't have time to run the store and both of them be gone for that long, so they probably won't be there that whole time.
Yeah. Florida Gators. This is a really cool one. It's got like this crazy, like kind of, I don't know, like a patch in the middle of it that's like embroidered. But this is 1991 SEC champions. So definitely, I'll probably list that one for $100. Hoping to get at least $75. This one's like super worn and faded, but I'll still be able to sell it pretty well. I think
you need to bleach that one because that's filthy.
Yeah,
it's filthy.
Packers super faded. And then this one I actually paid up for. I think I paid like $25 for this one, but this one is Orlando Magic. Really nice. This one I'll list for like $100. I'll try to sell for $100.
Interesting.
And then last one, I think you'll think this one's very cool.
I do. I always wanted one of those sweatshirts. My mom was too cheap.
Bum hoodie.
And I was in group homes by the time I was in high school when that was really cool. So I never got bum equipment stuff.
I paid $10 for it. It's that puffy print. This is 1992 on it.
Yep. I was actually on my own by then, 1992. That was my junior year in high school. I already had my own apartment. Mm-hmm. So I could not afford bum equipment or Champion. I never had those.
There you go.
I would have liked them though.
Yeah. All right. That's it. Okay, I love all the different types of core that are coming out
from Hawaii.
Volcano core, lava core,
puka
core,
ukulele core,
poi core.
You guys are nuts.
Pretty funny. Pretty funny.
Look at us, 3:13, and we are done.
I went through that pretty quick.
Coconut core, Don Ho core.
All right, guys. So we're going to wrap it up a little early, which is good because we've got some work to do before we have to go out for dinner with some friends and try to figure out how to eat healthy while going out.
Chicken fajitas. Hello, we're going to a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah. I'm probably going to get the shrimp ceviche.
Yes. No, thank you.
Anyway, guys, we will talk to you later. We will see you here again next Sunday. We will be here next Sunday. Again, the link to the Boss Reseller Remix website is down below, as well as a link to get your tickets. You should definitely go check out the site and see all the updated speakers list. You're definitely not going to want to miss out. We feel like all of our favorite people that we get to hang out with when we do eBay Open, they're all going to be here. It seriously is going to be super fun. And if there's any event, if you've never gone to a reseller event, I'm telling you, this is the one to go and do it for the first time.
It's true.
Because it's going to be a lot more intimate and a smaller group of people. It's going to be way more fun with 300 people than I think doing 3,000 people. And it's going to be all of your stranger friends.
And you get to talk. You'll get to actually hang out and talk with people. 3,000 people is really hard, especially when you don't know any of them, or you only know a handful of them. So I'm kind of excited that we get to spend some quality time with some of our favorite people and meet some new friends.
Indeed.
And just I think it's going to be a fun event. I'm excited about the whole thing.
Me too. And keep an eye out. Hopefully we'll be going live with Rally Roots tomorrow night. I got to check in with Ryan today. And get that all figured out, but that should be happening most likely tomorrow. So we'll post about it in the group if that's the case. So anyway, guys, enjoy the rest of your weekend. Go have some fun. Take a nap if you need to. Get some work done. Eat something good. Whatever. And we will talk to you later. All right. Bye.